Welcome to Sansad TV. You're watching our special program on Indian Air Force building India as an aerospace powerhouse. This is your host, Manish Kumar. Modern warfare is rapidly changing. This is the era of aerospace superiority. Indian Air Force is rapidly modernizing its fleet, and that's all about embracing next generation technology. It is also going to be historic year as the Indian Air Force is expanding its depth of operational horizon, is broadening into a space domain. To talk about such important aspect, we have Deputy Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Ashutosh Dixit. Sir, I welcome you to the show Sansad TV. I begin asking you, Indian Air Force is on course to modernize its fleet and also geared to rapidly changing war scenario. Could you give us an overview of Indian Air Force capability roadmap, how you look at the modernization drive? And you have also been in the helm of affairs for a long time. You have also been a decorated pilot, which has flown multiple platform and system. To sir.
Okay, thank you, Manish. Air Force is expanding and modernizing in all domains. So I will just touch upon each of them one by one. So first of all, we have fighter aircraft. We have been upgrading fighter aircraft for some time now. We have upgraded MiG-29, Mirage 2000. Then now we have realized that you have to become independent and indigenous equipment has to be order of the day. So we have gone into LCA, 40 LCA we had already ordered, IOC version 20, FOC version 20. Thereafter we have ordered 83 LCA Mark 1A. Recently we have ordered, we are going to order 97 further Mark 1As. Then government has already sanctioned design and development of Mark 2 and 5th generation aircraft, that is called Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft, that is AMCA.
Right.
So, and the Su-30 we are going to upgrade indigenously. So, this way we are set up our fighter thing, which is our main stay. Now, if you look at our helicopter fleet, we have world-class helicopters with us. We have Chinook, we have Apache, and we have a host of indigenous platforms which are ALH, and we are inducting LCH, and thereafter we are also will be inducting LUH. So this is the way to go with indigenous capability. In helicopters, we are going to develop Indian multi-role helicopter, which will be replacing our medium lift helicopters in times to come. Transport, we have already replacing Avro with built in India C295.
Right.
That is a new thing which we have done outside HAL. First time in history we have been able to do that.
You involved the private player into this first time.
Yes. So like this, and the radars, sensors, almost all indigenous. ISCCS, all indigenous. So like this, we are developing the capability. Now we come to weapons. Weapons are the cutting edge. They are the end result of our existence. So that also we have got air to air, air to ground, surface to air. So all different types, different ranges, different capability, we are all lined up in a manner so that we are able to achieve our objective.
Indian Air Force is also expanding its depth of operational horizon as it seeks to become the Indian Air Force and broadening into the space. How is it unfolding? How will it add to the capability of Indian Air Force? Could you explain?
Now, till now, space is being used primarily for PNT services. This is position, navigation and timing.
Right.
This is what we have been utilizing the space for. So we already have our Gagan constellation, which is also called Navik in air. We are all started to use that kind of capability. Earlier it was GPS based, now it will be Navik based navigation. Also, space is increasingly being used for getting the surveillance, which is, it gives you the ultimate high ground. And you can continuously look at enemy dispositions, what he is doing and where are your forces. So this is a great capability. The third one is communication. See, right now we are using VHF radios to communicate. So, you are only able to communicate 200, 300 kilometers.
Right.
With satellites, you are able to communicate anywhere in the globe. So, this is the capability also we are now. We have actually inducted this capability. We have some satellites in orbit who are giving us this capability. So, this persistent surveillance is the way to go, and for this we have got a good plan laid out, Samoha type of satellites and some more satellites, and on demand surveillance means some area which I want to look at constantly,
Right.
how to do that, that is also now becoming possible. So, this is our broadly our roadmap for space, using space.
So we have had a success story in space. We know ISRO taking a next generation, satellites, but it also talk about the dual use technology, how we integrate and learn from each other, say from the civilian part of space to the military part of space. Could you see this is becoming the biggest ecosystem, which you can also involve apart from ISRO, the private sector, and how Indian Air Force can drive this through?
So, some time back, in, I think 22, Ministry launched deaf space challenges. If you remember, 75
Right, sir.
challenges are launched, and they are some are in make category, some are in IDEX category, and all these challenges are being handled currently by private sector. So, few contracts have been signed with IDEX winners,
Right.
and some cases are moving in make category, where ISRO and Air Force and DSA, they are doing handhold of the private sector. So, this is the first step to engage private sector in a niche technology of space, and there are some technologies there which we are trying to develop which are not available anywhere in the world. So, this is how we are trying to integrate private sector, and I am very hopeful and I am able to see good progress in this regard.
But at the same time, you talked about the Indian Aerospace, Indian Air Force, driving, integrating private sector as much as possible. But we also look upon the new advanced technology. We so far dependent on the government sector largely for our manufacturing pattern. Where do you see the private sector holding and assisting you for the next generation technology as far as Indian Air Force is concerned, in terms of fighter jet, in terms of systems, in terms of radars, in terms of various equipments? You see, we have come up to the age, and what is required to drive further?
Now, what happens in defense manufacturing, where high-end products are involved, let's say LCA. So, LCA, the lead integrator is HAL.
Right.
Okay, but there are close to about 10,000 items which go into the aircraft to make it fly worthy.
Right, sir.
A large number of them are getting made in private sector, though small companies extra are making it. Let's take an example of C295. Though you're hearing only name of Tata, but I think about 150 private sector entities are there behind him, who will feed small components to make a bigger component like this. So, this is true of all big projects. So, we only hear about HAL or BL or the
Right,
prime sector. Now, we have also now trying to give the bigger thing to a private sector. So, an example is this high power radar case and CIWS case, which we have gone and done with L&T. And L&T in turn has got his huge supply chain behind him, whereas lead is also private and rear also will be private. So, without involvement of private players, whether be it MSME or a bigger house, this thing cannot be sustained, and we are successful because of involvement of this private sector, though you may not be able to perceive it upfront.
So, in that sense, we talk about the Indian Air Force capability. At the moment, we are very proud of the success story of LCA Tejas. We have multiple orders going on for LCA Tejas, and Hindustan Aeronautics Limited as a lead agency is working on that. But at the same time, we have the parallel program, which is called AMCA, Advanced Medium Combat Aircraft. And Indian Air Force is also looking for MRFA, which is multi-role fighter aircraft of next generations. How do you see these all programs unfolding? Keeping the strength of a squadron is going down below the strength, which you would be offsetting your old aircraft. How soon you address these scenario?
Yeah, so we are supposed to have, let's say, 42 ISKCONs. So there is a capability or capacity required in the country to fill this gap. The gap which is now happening because we have retired some old aircraft,
Right.
and some more will be retiring in times to come. So right now, or by next year end, let's say, HAL will be able to produce 24 LCA per year. Right now, they are able to produce about, say, 16 or so.
Right.
Next year end, they will be able to produce 24. Now, with 24, to fill this gap, they are producing LCA Mark 1A. So, we have up to 97. So, let's say up to 2030, 31, they will be able to complete this order. Thereafter, they will be producing LCA Mark 2 and thereafter AMCA. Now, if we continuously to do that, then also the rate at which we are going to retire the aircraft, we are not able to fulfill. So, that is why we are thinking of having one more line, which we are calling it MRFA, so that it can augment the full rate of our retirement of aircraft. So, that is how we are thinking that by say 31, 32, we should be able to hit the sweet spot of 40, 42 squadrons.
And you're looking at LCA Tejas as your frontline aircraft and in the combat zone, in the
so
times of crisis.
So that you can gauge by the fact that today we have a large number on order. About 200 already is on order. And LCA Mark 2, let's say we have set 6 squadrons, some 7 squadron, LCA Mark 2. So that also DND has rolled out. So we have put in all our best effort behind LCA. We are indigenizing our radar, we are indigenizing weapons, we are indigenizing EW suit, and the fly-by-wire is indigenous, the mission computer is indigenous, and we are now going to put AI in this. So the amount of effort we are putting behind LCA, there is no doubt LCA is going to be our frontline fighter.
And when we talk about AMCA, how would you differentiate in terms of LCA? And you also upgrade into LCA Mark 2. Is it about higher grade weapon category? Is it about the speed? Is it about the next generation technology? Is it about air superiority which you're talking about, which will fulfill your purpose? How do you define the differences between these parallel big programs? Because these are the mega programs which put India on the world map.
I'll explain this. This needs a little bit of, let's say, background. So till now we were talking about 4th generation aircraft, 4.5 generation, like Rafale we say it is 4.5 generation. AMCA will be 5th generation aircraft. Now this we are going to do first time in the country.
Right.
So you cannot go from let's say 4th generation to 5th generation directly. So LCA is 4th generation, we have been able to catch up 4th generation. So we must have a gap filler and we have to graduate on technology ladder gradually. So for this we are going in for LCA Mark 2. So major technologies which are going to go into AMCA will be perfected on LCA Mark 2, which are some kind of fly-by-wire. We are going in for side stick controller. We are going in for large area displays. We are going in for AI-based sensor fusion. So all this we will master on LCA Mark 2. Now the next step will be stealth, which is the reason for calling it 5th generation aircraft. Now when you talk of stealth, you have to have a lot of radio antennas related technology which we need to develop. So for that we are developing for AMCA. So there is one set of technology which will go through LCA Mark 2. The second set of technology will go directly land up on AMCA. So this is the major difference between these two platforms.
And we would be by the time able to develop our indigenous jet engine. Do you think it is possible where we are moving ahead in terms of addressing some of the critical areas in advanced and critical technology? how is it unfolding?
Yeah, engine we have to do also in a let's say gradual manner. So some work we have started in let's say Su-30 engine and some other kind of engine we are starting the work. But yes, we in the final analysis we need our own engine, because once you have fifth generation, you will certainly after some more time you will have to go into sixth generation and you will have to create a new kind of engine. So we must have a base engine of ourselves, and we are constantly in dialogue with government.
Right. So the strength of Indian Air Force also lies in the best of the class training and values, which perhaps makes it a highly coveted force, of personnel, which all over proud of, modern equipment, which proud of your personnel, the training you command. What is that you look for those who are determined to join Indian Air Force? Those have aspiration to be part of these coveted forces of the world.
So, like you very correctly said, man-machine combination is what makes a Air Force worthwhile. So, training is very, very important, and we are looking for people who are motivated, who have the drive in them, who are inclined to serve the nation, who have the right mindset, who can be team player while taking decisions independently, who are not afraid to call spade a spade. In short, means a thing is right, then he should be able to follow it rather than take a shortcut. Because in flying, there is no scope of taking a shortcut.
So a fighter pilot is all about also becoming a first-class engineer. He should have that bent of technical mind.
He should have little bit of scientific bent of mind, but engineer is not compulsory. Physics, chemistry, mathematics, I think that is more than sufficient.
Sir, also this phenomena is unfolding in a sheer magnitude. If you also see the recent wars and the role of unmanned vehicle is taking over, perhaps will not replace the fighter jet, but the talk of having a UAVs and drones, in your perspective planning, is something as a core of your roadmap. How do you look at and how Indian Air Force is gearing toward addressing some of these equipment, systems and technology, and how far we have reached in terms of indigenous development of UAVs, which we call aerial vehicle aerial systems?
Yeah. UAVs come in various shapes and sizes, from micro, mini drone to full-fledged RPA, which is able to carry a large payload. So we have started at both the spectrums. We have already inducted some short-range loitering munition,
Right.
some 150 kilometer, 250 kilometer range equipment is there with us. And then we have Heron or that kind of RPAs with us, and that is DRDO is also developing that, and we want to increase the number, and we are developing that in India. Also, some kind of buy is also happening. In this, the sensor is the more important aspect. So, sensor development, DRDO has progressed quite a lot. We have 3 or 4 types of sensors,
Right.
because this is mainly used for ISR, that is surveillance and reconnaissance purpose, but also for weaponization also, which is a area which we generally do not talk about much. The next step of using RPA is what is called man-unmanned teaming. So right now, a fighter aircraft goes along with another fighter aircraft. So here we are experimenting now. One aircraft will go along with 2 or 3 drones, so that they are able to assist him in carrying out his mission effectively. So this is the area we are very much interested, and we are doing some development work. One more area is that very high altitude drones, where they can stay in stratosphere or maybe above that for a longer period of time.
So what is required to address that? If you talk about the HL high category drones or medium altitude drones, how would we succeed building that sort of indigenously?
So a very good understanding of aerodynamics is required. And like I said earlier, the sensors which are able to look at great detail from that height. So that is another thing which we require. Then there is some engineering aspects we have actuators, we have some issue in there. So that is where we are trying to do more and more work along with DRDO.
So, we also must focus on the rotary wing, which is perhaps another success story which we're talking about. Various helicopters, we have LH, we have LUH. How these are unfolding in the whole capability roadmap?
Now, helicopters, HAL has done a very good job. We have inducted 3 versions of ALH, and very large number are there with us, including us, Army, Navy, Coast Guard, everybody has got ALH. Next version was light combat helicopter, which we have gone ahead and taken even for about 150 plus numbers. So that we are going to order. Next version is LUH, that will replace Chetak and Cheetah. And the ultimate design will be replacement of Mi-17 MLH class. So that is the one which we are going to start shortly.
And we are also talking about developing the indigenous engine for the helicopter, which is called Indian multi-role helicopter. How is it unfolding?
Yes. Indian multi-role helicopter will have an engine which will be designed in India. That engine, the JV is already set up between HL and Safran. The work is already started. So that we are confident that that engine will come up correctly, and that will be an indigenous engine. Yes.
And last, but that's vital, what we're seeing in India is a resurgence of defense startup. A lot of young, bright talents from various institutes are gearing up to produce some of the solutions what you required. Where do you see the Air Force working towards the defense startup? Some of the technology, if you talk about, if they're gearing up to.
So this all started when IDEX project was launched. So as I remember, when we did the first IDEX batch, so we did 3 or 4 problem statements, and we got 2 people with each problem statement. In the latest problem statement which we did, we have got more than 100 responses, and we are now overwhelmed because each problem response, each person who submits his response, we have to analyze it fully. So it has been a overwhelming response from the industry. A large number of startups have come up, and they are addressing the challenges which we are giving, and some new kind of solutions are coming up. So now on our part, we have set up a Directorate of Aerospace Design, which is now handling this resurgence of, or rather this large number of startups which are coming forward. We are also opening up regional centers, because we realize that sitting here in Delhi, I cannot address the people who are other places in India, like in, let's say, Coimbatore, Pune, Ahmedabad, these places where startups are there. They cannot come to Delhi and explain. So we are going and setting up regional centers there. So I think we are doing quite a good job there, and the response from industry has been, or rather the startups and MSME has been very good. 2-3 issues are there, like we need more skilled manpower, and some kind of funding we need, though ministry has recently announced liberalized funding scheme. So that I think we are on right track.
I thank Deputy Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Ashutosh Dixit, for coming on Sansad TV. This is Manish Kumar Jha signing off. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.